Ladies and germs, possum and perms, welcome to Offensive Points. This is our final mock draft before the actual NFL draft. And got some pretty feisty takes today. So I'm excited to hear what these guys got. As always, I'm with Josh and I'm with Billy. And yeah, let's dive on in, guys. What's
So
up?
I know the draft's like what next week, but like you said final mock draft and something about that was just so freaking sad. You think we can squeeze in another one or should we just do two tonight? Like I just no, I'm just kidding. One's fine. One's fine. We'll do that. That's fine.
We should just do one mock draft every day. We just get together about now and just do a new mock every single time.
Should.
Definitely be down for that. All right, Joe.
Seven
Can you
more
get
mock
our
drafts.
Can you get our ads out of the way because I don't remember them and you usually have a copy right in front of you?
Yeah. Well, they changed the format. They want me to read the ads in. So
Oh,
anyway,
my bad.
without further ado, or with further ado, actually, we are brought to you live tonight by the IDP Plus Network. Wonderful things on the horizon. So go, sprint, run, crawl as fast as you can to idpplus.com and enter promo code IDP2025 for 50% off any of our premium subscriptions. Run quick. The deal is capped, and prices will ramp up as soon as the casuals decide they want to pay attention to fantasy football. Go over and download the Fast Draft app today, and you can play IDP Best Ball this season, which is awesome. The first time depositor offer is 100% first time deposit match up to $50 with promo code plus OP. Deposit 50, get $50. Play some IDP Best Ball on us. They have offense on there as well. We hope to see you there. And then while you're at it, head over to the fantasyfootballexpo.com and purchase your tickets. It's at the Football Hall of Fame in Canton, all in August 8th through the 10th. We will be there with a host of other friends from the community. So come out, have a beer with us, and play some cornhole. Go see the Hall of Fame. Might try to get some golf in. It's just a fun weekend. So we always have a great time. Friday is one of the best parties of the year. Saturday is chill as hell. We're usually in there drafting, and then Sunday we're driving home and just revisiting the memories of the weekend. Just a great time. So go over there and come sit at the expo.
Speaking of the expo, you guys asked me last week on the spot, like no preparation, which is kind of how our podcast goes, and that's fine. I appreciate it. You asked me what my favorite part about the expo was, and I definitely said Friday night, and I still stand by that. But I will say, us competing to the fourth seed because we had to play like 45 games over on the second bracket after we lost one in flag football was just amazing. It was a great time. We were kicking ass. We literally didn't stop, never take a break, and eventually we had to lose because we played 4 games in a row. But talk about that bracket, Bob. Don't worry, people don't forget.
All you wanted to do was play Dez. And literally, he was probably the only team we did not play during that.
Dude,
run.
I think we played just about everybody. But good time.
I think you're right. I think
I
you're
still,
right about that.
it makes sense that he played quarterbacks. He didn't want some hack taking his knees out, but I really wish he'd have played.
It would have been
receiver.
cool to see him catch a ball, at least one play.
I just want him to like moss me and have that as my LinkedIn picture.
Oh, I would have absolutely been like, if someone's standing there, please take as many pictures as possible.
I probably would have filmed literally the whole thing just to make sure that it was there.
Yeah.
And usable
anyway,
footage-wise.
regardless, still such a fun time, dude. I just loved getting out there on the field. I would have loved to play on the actual field again, but I guess that got kicked, which is probably a good move.
There was an Achilles tear immediately.
There was. I'm sure that we don't want that happening again.
No,
anyway, let's get to this final mock draft. We are excited that the draft is coming. We have a draft party next week. Please come, be a part of it. We're going to be live for all 3.5 to 4 hours of the draft, and we will be breaking down pick by pick, having crazy, random things, random interactions. People will be coming in. We're going to have a good time. We have one every year. So, grab a drink, grab some weed, whatever you want to do. Come hang out, watch the draft.
If it's legal in your state.
Fun.
Only if it's legal.
If it's legal in your state, obviously.
I just wanted to clarify, we don't condone breaking the law.
I don't recommend doing cocaine during the draft. It's too slow moving. You won't enjoy it.
A good point, Joe. Somebody needed to say it. Without further ado, bring up the draft board and let's get right into this, guys. We have 4 mock drafts, I think. This is our 4th one that we've done throughout this offseason. But this one is the one we need to nail. This is the one that we literally need to have every pick right. Now, there has not been a first-round pick traded yet. I'm pretty positive this has never happened. I can't remember watching a draft where none of the first-round draft picks have been traded. I don't know if you guys can recall any off the top of your head, but I don't think that this has ever happened where it's as straightforward as literally every team's picking in the spot that they're supposed to.
I think the year Lamar Jackson got drafted and the Eagles traded that pick, I think that was the only trade in the first round, and it was like at the buzzer, 30.
Yeah, that's true.
32. It was. I might be wrong. There could have been a trade too on that one, but yeah, no, there's usually some action, and not to mention teams are getting better and better about wheeling and dealing, and there's a lot of people on the rumor mill for getting traded. So
I don't know. I think the NFL is getting bored, and their league mates are probably assholes like ours, just like. What they want for Tyreek? They said 2 firsts for Tyreek recently. I know it was a joke, but maybe they're just tired of it. Maybe they just want to get on with the season. Who knows?
Yeah. But as it stands right now, guys, we actually have an opportunity to get every single pick right. Just saying. Without any other trades on the board.
March Madness. Nobody's ever done it and filled out the perfect bracket, but there's always the option. Like there's always the chance to do.
The problem is with trades, it literally makes it impossible.
Well, we could also pay PFF.
As it stands right now,
I appreciate. I actually, I'm gonna go ahead and
we're
thank
good to
PFF
go.
in general. We've used your draft board; it's great. I wish we had more rounds and more trades, but understandable. You should make a buck too.
Nah, they capped off the money dam that they were let loose a couple years ago when everybody was making the same mock drafts.
Money's good.
It is.
Good.
Okay.
Everybody likes money.
Without further ado, the first pick on the clock is the Tennessee Titans.
Dude, Cam Ward, man.
It's Cam Ward.
His list of top 5 for 4 wide receivers and putting Treylon Burks in it for 1 and putting Ridley at number 1 and then beefing with AJ Brown. I mean, he's doing the right thing by getting drafted to the Titans. Like, this makes sense. Like, you should be hyping your players up, and that's good that you're going public and saying some ludicrous stuff like that. So hopefully you can actually back it up. But obviously go to the Titans, clearly.
Yeah,
so if anybody missed it, last night he was streaming Fortnite and he was asked what the top 4 wide receivers are in the league. He said Calvin Ridley number 1, Justin Jefferson 2, Jamar Chase 3, and Treylon Burks was the 4th best, the Mount Rushmore of current wide receivers in the league. I love that. I love that so much. Calvin Ridley, at least you can make the case that like, okay, maybe you could believe that. It's
but not
highly unlikely. Even. Well, no, but you could at least see where that was going. When you add Treylon Burks, who hasn't played in like 2 years, that's when it's like, all right, he knows what he's doing here. He also was talking about running backs and said his 2 favorite are Tajay Spears and Tony Pollard.
Point,
so
like, I get hyping up your team, but like, at what point are you just lying? And it's like, is that a bad thing at this point? I don't know. I'm very interested in how this Titans team. I would love to see the Titans do well because I've always wanted to go to a Titans game. It's 4 hours away from us, but we could absolutely make that road trip. But honestly, the team's players for sure, but the team's never been worth seeing, honestly, sadly.
I was about to say, weren't they the number 1 seed in the AFC like 3 years ago when they had Derrick Henry?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Derrick Henry
they had
was
Ryan
exciting.
Tannehill, they had Malik Willis, they had Mason Rudolph, they had Will Levis. If Cam Ward goes here and Cam Ward plays like he should, because he's a good quarterback, immediate upgrade on this team. There's no income tax in the state. Everyone's going to come want to play there. It could be a turnaround for the Titans. That's why you have to take this guy. I'm not saying he's going to be great, but it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think you talked me into it, Joe. I think I finally believe that Cam Ward's going number 1 overall.
All right. Let's go
I'm a great salesman, Bill.
All right. This is where I think the draft actually gets interesting. Number 2 is the Cleveland Browns. They need just about everything on the board. Literally anything could be good here. I think I've come around. I think they're taking Travis Hunter. I think they need a wide receiver, and a cornerback wouldn't hurt on this team where they could definitely use that as an upgrade. I think you just take the best player available. I don't think you overthink it with this.
Well, and he's come out and said he's only going to play, or he's going to play wide receiver and he's going to play cornerback on whatever respective team he goes to. Sadly, the Cleveland Browns are the type of team that could play a guy on two sides, where it's not like, hey, listen, we're the reigning champs. We need to not do that. You need to pick a position so we can win. It's a team that it's going to be fun. He's going to be a fun person to watch. And honestly, I had no idea where he's going to go in IDP draft IDP drafts, but also just dynasty drafts in general.
We made the case
Interesting.
for 2 a couple weeks ago. I don't know how I believe it, but it could work
I don't know
out.
how you can go above Genty, but I think like at 3, 4,
I mean,
maybe.
Genty's 1, so
3 makes sense.
I don't know who you would have above Genty.
Genty would be number 1,
Yeah,
clearly.
so made the case for him to go 2.
And then
It'd be cool.
Amari.
There
That would
is a
be the
case for
most
him to go
Cleveland.
to. It would be one of the more shocking draft picks that has ever happened.
It would be
Well, the
the
problem is-
most ridiculous shit and the most Cleveland shit if they draft the guy and they say, "Hey, you're only playing one side," and then he retires, and they just wasted a second round.
It would
pick.
be an all-time moment if they came out afterwards and said, "Yeah, he's not strong arming into playing 2 sides of the ball. He's only playing 1." And then he's like, "Well, I guess I'm not playing."
Yeah,
I
That
feel
would
like
be
there's
fantastic.
no way that IDP leagues list him as a corner eligibility or safety eligibility. Like they pretty much, especially if he decides to
It's
be a wide receiver.
it's going to be very interesting because if he gets
Such
that
a
dual
unique
eligibility,
scenario.
all of the IDP leagues we are in, he will probably be 1 or 2. I mean, it won't be 1 because people are obsessed with running backs, but 2, not out of the realm of possibility.
Are we? You good with Hunter?
Your competition's Jerry Jeudy and
Yep.
Cedric
Hunter it
Tillman's
is.
head. So
Travis Hunter.
Yeah. All right. Pick 3 in the draft is the New York Giants. They kind of started to throw us a curveball, having some weird quarterback talks between like Shador, I saw was in for a workout. And then there's been all this rumors about other quarterbacks, but I don't think at 3, I'm necessarily worried about them doing that. Again, I'm going to go with the best player available. It's Abdul Carter. I don't know why they would, how they would use him necessarily because they do have Thibodeau there. But I don't think you could pass it up at the same time.
It doesn't
And
make
Burns,
any sense
yeah.
for them to go. I mean, it'd be super cool and great for the future, but like it would be burying one of your studs, which is sad. So I think it's obviously offense. That's what this team needs to boost. They did sign some veteran quarterbacks who they hypothetically could trot out there. But at this point, I feel like they're bailing on the quarterback. Shadur's going a little later at this point. Maybe they trade back. This would be a great trade back candidate for the Giants, but I think they go offensive tackle, Campbell or Membu, one of the 2.
yeah, it would make sense to get the line built up, but Dable comes from the Bills, and we've seen them rotate their line all the time. And Thibodeau, honestly, could be a great rotational guy. Keep Burns on the field and get Abdul Carter out there. I think it's Carter. I don't think you can pass him up here.
I just don't see them doing it and stacking Thibodeau and Burns. Like in my brain, it just doesn't make any sense. But it is a Giants, so like they probably won't.
Thibodeau has not been what he was.
He was
expected
great
to
until
be.
he got injured last year.
He's still
it's
good.
He's
recency
great,
bias.
but Abdul Carter is better and has a higher ceiling.
I'm not saying Abdul Carter isn't better. I just think it makes no sense to invest in the same position 3 times when you have so
I
many
just
other
think
glaring holes. I don't think
2 years ago he was really good.
All right, Joe, let's
Last
spice
year
this up.
injured.
Or Billy. Fireball bet on the 3rd pick that I believe it will be offensive, and you guys believe it will be defensive.
I mean, yeah, I'll take it. That's fine. Offensive, defensive.
Just spice up the draft right away. You know what I mean?
I will
did
not
get
take
my.
But I do
Pad
believe it
of
will be
paper.
Abdul Carter.
Okay. Abdul Carter, go number 3. I do not agree, but that's okay.
All right, 4th on the clock. New England Patriots. I have them going tackle, but I could hear out anything else you guys think.
It's Will Campbell
this-
here. He's a left tackle. He held his own against the SEC. Screw his arm length, whatever. You have to protect Drake May. This draft is about getting Drake May weapons and protecting him. So, Will Campbell, do it.
Yeah, Will Campbell makes sense here. I would have tackle going, or if in this position, Tet's got to be an option. I mean, I know that Tet's dropped down, and this is another situation for them, but they have to do something about wide receiver.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I just don't think they're going to do it at 4.
Okay.
I mean,
could
at
drop,
this
though.
spot, they could get Higgins in the 2nd round. They could get Trey Harris. I think there's a
Yeah.
lot
I
of
mean,
options at wide
They'll be
receiver.
drafting a wide receiver, clearly, but I just...
Oh, yeah.
The problem is, Joe, they've been burned so many times by taking like the late round wide receiver / like 2nd, 3rd round guy that I just like
I could see
feel
him
bad.
going
I feel bad
Tet.
for them that they're going to get burned again potentially. But yeah, I don't think they go Tet. I think they go Campbell.
I just, you guys are really lame because there's no way they're going offensive line. But I like your style.
Well, why? They
Did you
had a
see their
really, really
offensive
bad
line
one
last
last
year?
year. Like
Yeah,
they
I mean,
desperately
it
need
makes sense,
it.
but you got to build this offense up for. They didn't do anything in free agency to make their wide receiver room.
Well, I think they don't
better.
even know if they what they have at wide receiver because Drake May was under duress the whole time. That like, how can you even make an evaluation of it?
Fair enough. I feel like this is another trade down candidate. Figure it out later.
They
Potentially.
absolutely should trade down. But
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
getting Diggs
we'll
was
see.
great, but you need something young and one of the bigger guys, not I'll get him later type guy. But anyway, we went with
see.
Campbell.
All right, pick 5 on the clock is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Josh, I'll let you kick it off so that me and Joe aren't steering the conversation. Apparently,
Oh, don't worry, you'll steer the conversation here because you're going to steer away from what I have to say.
Oh,
The
great.
Jaguars pick Ashton Genty.
Okay, Joe, what
speechless.
realistic option do you have for them to take at number 5?
Do you want to hear me out? No,
I'm
Just-
interested in hearing Josh.
Okay,
out.
I do kind of want to hear you out, but at the same time, like, man, this would be a all-time bungle if they did.
All right. Well, you got Travis Etienne, who had the worst statistical career or season of his career, so he's having a little bit of a rough time right now, and ending his contract, I believe, next year, and can be out from it. Tank Bigsby has shown absolutely nothing. He had a couple blasts here and there, but nothing sustainable. They have no running back, and they have a quarterback who's not doing so great, as we saw as well. A person like Ashton Genty on this team would absolutely make for a great draft pick here. So 100% what they're going to do.
That is a very
They don't
spicy
believe in
take.
Etienne. They don't believe in Tank Bigsby. Like this is the chance to get the flashiest player on the board. Best available, best. I feel like nobody's talking about the Jaguars potentially getting him because they're like, oh, he's got Etienne. I love Etienne, and he'll still have a role, and so will Bigsby. I mean, it'll be pretty wishy-washy, or one of them will get traded, but Genty on this team makes it a team.
I think they do take a running back. I just don't think it's going to be at 5. Like
just
that.
feel like
That is the
everyone
only
in
part
this-
I'm.
Everyone in this general vicinity is going to be playing the should we grab him now? And if it slips, obviously there's going to be teams that swoop up and probably trade up for him, but I don't think he makes it very far. I think a lot of people believe him to be the best running back in this class and potentially, future Hall of Famer. I mean, a little early for that, but, obviously. has talent
I would
for
say
NFL.
I would definitely say it's a little early for that.
Yeah, but you know how they get. This is like the guy. So
I get
like,
it.
they're
Okay.
in a draft full of so many running backs, I understand your presence of they can get him later, but you could get the one instead of the maybe. So anyway, realistic draft.
Okay,
draft pick.
Joe.
don't
What do you think, Joe?
I have Mason Graham. I think the team build just makes a ton of sense here. Keep Trayvon Walker and Josh Allen on the outside. Sure up the middle. I don't hate the idea of them going offense here, but I would rather see them get Tyler Warren or Ted McMillan at this spot. So, but Mason Graham would be my pick.
Man, this is gonna get real boring because I'm saying Mason Graham too. Because
Remember when you said
I also think.
you guys weren't driving the draft. Well, there you go.
Well,
You drove
I didn't know. I guess me and Joe technically just went through the entire draft on the golf course today, and so we just knew exactly
okay,
what
so
we're gonna
that's what it is. You guys have been.
do.
Hanging
I'm just
out
kidding. That
and,
didn't
like,
happen,
you
but
guys
it
have
does.
the,
It does feel that way after
It
we
does
heard
feel that way.
a
But I already
line.
clicked Genty because I'm not listening to him making it past the Raiders.
Okay, I was about to say the Raiders are 6th on the clock. Me and Josh think that there's no way he gets.
Yeah, I
Past
can't make it past
the
Raiders.
This isn't
Raiders.
fantasy
I mean-
football. It would be the stupidest
Bro, we have
shit. They
drafted
play.
offensive linemen and defensive interior guys, which will go high and probably will go in these spots as well. But I feel like you have to hone in on the two most, arguably best position players in this draft. So, other than I don't.
Your
really know what to
options
count
for the
Trent
Raiders
Simmons.
are Tet or Will Johnson. You play in a division
Snot.
with Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Bo Nix. You have to have one cornerback on your team, and you have to add receiver. Tet is a true alpha wide receiver that can play that role on the outside. Brock Bowers doesn't have all the pressure on him, and those are your two out. They're not drafting a running back here. It makes absolutely no sense.
Do you think Ashton Dix is going to make it to the Chicago Bears at 10, Joe?
I think that they could just wait and get the 40th pick and take, Quinshawn or any of these guys and you pair that with Mostert and Sincere McCormick, and I think you'll be just fine. I don't think they're investing in Ashton Genty here. It makes no sense.
So you believe in the Ashton Genty slide? How low do you think Genty makes it?
Genty is going to the Chicago Bears. That is where
So
Ashton Genty will go.
At what point is it fandom? Or
it's a little fan casty.
No, you can
Feels
say
like
it's fandom, but it's not. It's
this isn't
common
fantasy
sense.
Football, Joe.
You have a new coach. You have Geno Smith as your quarterback. Your line sucks. You have no cornerbacks outside of Jack Jones. You paid way too much fucking money, and then you have no wide receivers.
Jack Jones, by the way, I feel like he was.
Why would Pete Carroll not just get the running back? He needs to run the offense that he usually runs. Like, literally, he had Marshawn Lynch for years. He's going to want to go get the guy that can be Marshawn Lynch to run this offense. Like, he's not going to be around forever.
I think if you look at the 2026 free agent and rookie class and the rookie running backs in this class, I think you'll be just fine at running back. You need to invest in a premium positioning.
Well, arguably, the Bears could also be in a similar boat as that, where they could get a running back later and be fine as well. I just feel like with their offense he wants to run, it's not necessarily Geno passing out of it with a wide receiver. It's having a really, really strong running game, and the best running back is the guy that can go through contact, which he's going to need because the line's going to be not great.
I guess so. I don't know. I think you got Chip Kelly calling plays where Pete Carroll had success with the Legion of Boom, and you have one halfway decent cornerback back there.
They're not going.
Look at the division. Dude, putting Ashton Genty on this team is not going to beat the Chiefs. It's not going to beat the Broncos probably. And it's damn sure not going to beat the Chargers.
They are 100% not competing for this year. Like, this is not a competing
team.
Then
why would you draft Ashton Genty when you?
Because he's a cornerstone. There's not going to be. You're not going to get a running back like
cornerstones. They're good for 3 fucking years.
They are.
Kick them to the curb.
Tell the Eagles that they're not a cornerstone to that effing team.
Look how long Saquon's contract was. 2 years.
It's 3 years.
Okay, well, I mean, they have Genty for 5 now.
Yeah, to have someone for 5 years is rare in this league, and to have
and he's going to be very cheap for 5 years.
Joe, you're making all these.
You guys are real cute with this, and every other analyst out there, it's not going to happen. It makes no football sense.
Can we make the argument for Shedeur going here? I know you already picked Genty, and I'm glad Billy was still on my side after the golf game. I thought you might have swapped sides, but we had to make the argument for Shedeur here. I mean, they don't really have a quarterback either per se. I mean, not for the long haul.
You could.
I mean, I don't think so. I think Pete Carroll wants to win right now. I don't think he's fighting for the future. Man's like almost 80 years old. I think he's wanting to just get this over with and try to win right now. Whether he can do that or not, I don't know. We do have a question on YouTube. Sorry, Jeremy, I hadn't seen it. Trade away a 25, 26, and 27 second round pick and a 2027 first round and a 2025 third round for Garrett Wilson.
That guy's just trying to farm your picks, dude.
That is a lot of picks. Pick is it? I mean, yeah, that would be helpful. Where the 2025,
3 years of first round or second rounders, and your first rounder 3 years from now, sure, whatever. I'd be okay
and a third rounder for this year. So the second and third round from this year.
Okay, so yeah, this guy's just trying to do a rebuild and get as much capital as he can. I think you can argue that down. I don't think you need to give that many players.
I don't think so either.
A wide receiver you can give him as a rental and like throw in a couple second rounders and I don't know, figure out a pick swap or something.
Are you a contender right now? Because if you're a contender, I could see making this move because you're kind of just kicking the can down the road. I would like to see take the 26 second out of there and give him the 25 and 27.
Yeah, but he's trying to sell high on Garrett Wilson right now.
I think you could get the third and the 2026 second rounder out of there and maybe just 2025, 2027 second round and then the 2027 first because by then you're either winning the championship or you're not by 2027 with this. So it's not going to matter. You're going to have a late pick anyway for that 2027. But I would get the 2025 third out of there, and I would get the 2026 second rounder out of there too. So
if you're a contender,
for me personally,
I would consider it.
I just feel like you could easily drop off a pick or two of this for one. Yeah. But secondly, this guy's selling low on Garrett Wilson to rebuild his team. Or trying to sell high, I should say. And it's just at this point you're panicking because they have Justin Fields on the team. We know why you're trying to trade Garrett Wilson. You're not fooling anyone there. So it's like. Cut a couple of those picks off for sure. I don't dislike it, but a first in 3 years, whatever, that's like another second round pick. So you got like 4 second round picks in there. Cut 1 or 2 of them. Get rid of the third, especially giving all 2 picks in this year's draft, which is coming up. Which God, I can't wait for draft season for us.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No, I think that we're aligned here. Yeah. If you need to, just throw it in the conversation. Hey, they got Justin Fields now. I don't know what kind of asset we have here. Like, I'm taking the risk on with this. You're taking the draft picks. Like, I'm not going to give you this many draft picks. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
it's
Hopefully that helps.
intriguing, though. It's intriguing. A bunch of rambling.
I do like it. Yes, and I can't believe we're at draft season. I'm so excited. All right, on to the 7th pick in the draft, which is the New York Jets. There's a lot of different options I've kicked around in my head for this. Joe, what are you thinking that the New York Jets should do here?
I had him taking Membu a lot, but I think I'm going to switch it up and have him take Tyler Warren. You have no one else on that team outside of Garrett Wilson, who we just talked about. Get Tyler Warren out there and give Justin Fields a versatile weapon. That way you have Brees, Tyler Warren, and Garrett Wilson, and that's a respectable offense, especially with Fields' legs.
Yeah, see, I'm on the same book, just different page. They have no one else out there, so I think they go Tet or Luther Burden. Probably makes the more sense to have a different style wide receiver. I feel like Tet, either one could be fine. I mean, it's really their preference at this point, right? You got Tet, Luther Burden, and what's the super fast guy? I already lost him.
Golden.
I
I don't hate Ted here. That would actually make a lot of sense. I had him going to the Raiders last pick, so but I think you got to help.
Wide receiver makes sense. Tight end would be great, and Warren is could be one of the best tight ends coming in, or is the best coming in, but could be one of the best tight ends in the NFL, potentially. So I just feel like wide receiver makes the most sense. Get Field another. Tet probably makes a lot of sense to be that jump ball guy. Just, hey man, you got to be down there some Vic days, So
fair enough.
Billy,
I was with Joe with Warren. I think that they need a playmaker like that on this team. But I mean, Tet works too. I don't either way.
I was originally soured on Ted, and then someone had I've heard a lot of comps for him, and someone said Dez Bryant, and I went back and watched his tape, and I was like, he kind of does. So I'm back on Ted.
So we doing Ted here? Love that. I feel like everyone's just mad when you don't have the speed. Like if you don't have the breakaway speed, everyone's like can't be successful in the NFL. How many wide receivers have we seen? Larry Fitzgerald, who didn't have top end speed, not comping him to that whatsoever, but Anquan Bolden wasn't the fastest guy around. I mean, there's some players out there. Hines Ward as well, another kind of guy who's just a good possession receiver. Obviously had some speed, but played till he was 35 years old. Did not have speed at the end, obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm mixed on Tet. Like I like everything about him except for there's just some games where he was doing nothing. Which I mean, Joe, you've spoke about it. Like you're like, what if that was the quarterback doing that? But
that was the quarterback a lot of the time, I think.
I don't know.
But, no, I agree with you, man. I was originally kind of backing off of him, and then someone said that, and I was like, let me go back and watch his tape. And I was like, he kind of does play like Dez. And if he could bring that to an offense, that would be sick. So
yeah, I mean, he did have 1,300 yards this year, 1,400 last year. Touchdowns weren't super there, but, like, again, the offense was not awesome. So
it's always hard to judge in college too. You can see a guy who's done really well in college and doesn't translate to the NFL. You've seen people who've done really bad in college be better in the NFL. So, I mean, say really bad, just mediocre more so. You really don't have a shot.
Honestly, as long as they get to over 1,000 yards, they're gonna at least have a chance to succeed in the NFL. I have yet to see a wide receiver that didn't have 1,000 yards in college be good in the NFL.
Tet would make a great
hasn't happened
too, especially to someone like Garrett. You know what I mean? So. It'd be worse to see him go to a team that's supposed to be the automatic number one. Like, don't put that pressure on him. Let him go out there and cook, with some mentorship, hopefully, from Garrett.
Yeah. Before we move on, Dale Cooper on YouTube says Jets could maybe go Sanders. There's obviously a chance, right? Because, like, even though they do have Fields there, it's not like they're not thinking, well, if this experiment doesn't work, maybe we could throw a quarterback in there. I just feel like maybe they would wait one more year on it. Just give Fields the year this year to kind of see what we got, what's what, who's who. And then next year we'll reevaluate and maybe go for a quarterback, which the quarterback class next year isn't great, but it's still maybe, they could still land something.
Yeah, honestly. I just feel
I
like
don't hate it.
Yeah, it could work. And
Yeah.
honestly, like the problem is I've just so believed in this Saints situation and all the Carr situation. It just feels like Shadur worked it out, or Shadur Dion worked it out ahead of time. Like I don't know. I just believe in the rumors. This just when there's smoke, there's fire, and I just feel like there's fire for the Saints. And but Carolina could snag him. I mean, it's or not Carolina. The New York Jets could snag him. I just feel like are they? Will they do that? I mean, and is it will Shadur play? Will he be the nope, not doing it type kind of person? I'm not going to sit behind Justin Fields. And would someone burn Justin Fields like that for the second year, getting another guy in there who's supposed to be the starter in the future or now? I don't know.
It's really tough to say, to be honest
I
with
still
you. It
believe
really is.
that Jackson Dart is going to go before Shador in this draft. But if you look at Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall's contract, I mean, it would make a lot of sense to have a rookie behind Justin Fields because those guys are going to cost you a ton of money. You already paid a ton of the defense. So if you want to remain competitive, it's not a bad call to get a quarterback in this draft. But I think they're just going to let Fields at least go for the full year. Fields is a good quarterback, so I think they're happy with what they want. I mean, Egerston or Tanner Egerston, whatever his name is, went out and got a mobile quarterback. That's what he was looking for. He was looking at Mariota. He was looking at a bunch of guys in that realm. So I don't think they do draft a quarterback. I think they just are happy with Fields and they build around him at this point.
What sells
Probably
me
so.
on the Jets not going QB to start is the fact that they signed Fields to be the number one. They went out and got Tyrod, who is at a backup at this point in his career. Like they've built this team how they would have it. Like Fields probably wouldn't have signed that contract if you knew there was someone, and that's just going to cause problems. And why would you do that to the Jets? They already have enough problems.
True. Yeah. So there you go. On to the Carolina Panthers. My pick's Jalen Walker. I think he is a top 10 talent that needs to be taken here. He can also play edge rusher, even though he is listed as a linebacker. I just think he makes too much sense for this defense, and he would slot right in to start right away.
Yeah, I got Mike Green or James Pierce. Pick your best edge rusher, easy, any of the three. But defense for sure. I feel like as long as he can be an edge rusher, I'm good with it. But I just got listed as linebacker. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the edge rusher, but I do think Jalen Walker was my pick here, and I do think that the speed he brings out of the linebacker position is perfect for putting pressure on the quarterback. They desperately need an edge. He can play on the edge, but he could play in the middle. His versatility is going to help that defense a ton, and they need a ton of help. So I would just go with him because he's more versatile.
Okay. I mean, my problem is I feel like they got to replace Burns, and I mean, if this helps that's fine. But I feel like the edge rusher, the true edge rusher, might have made more sense. But honestly, these days, like Hassan Reddick and different players who play linebacker, edge, inside, Zach Bond, for example, who obviously made the switch and is killing it. So, cool. All right, well, Saints up.
I think it would be smart for them. But all right, pick 9, New Orleans Saints.
Darn.
This is one of the most wild card spots in this draft right now because it really feels like they're going to take Jackson Dart, but to take him above Shador is like what? Like I can't really fathom that in my head right now, but I also couldn't fathom Penix going in the top 10 either, and that happened. So, do we think they pull off the impossible and pick Dart here?
Yes.
I feel like Dart's the Malik Willis of this year, where we all just are convinced he's going in the first round, and he might, but in the top 10 before Shador, like I don't know. I just feel like this drama is going to be weird. But the whole Saints thing, like I said earlier, just it made me feel like Dion went and was like, get Carr out of there. We're going to play, which makes me think another reason why he's obviously not going to the Jets. I don't know. Shador, I'm wondering how his visits went.
So I definitely think they are taking a quarterback because this Derek Carr shoulder thing is real, and I do think that is meaning he may not be ready to go. So they're going to need a quarterback because they're not putting Spencer Rattler out there. I guess they could go Shador. I mean, we haven't really necessarily ruled that out.
I am convinced that it's Shador. I feel like there's been so many links to it.
I don't know. I'm still convinced that Jackson Dart's better than Shador.
I didn't say that. I was just
I
saying
don't.
I think Shador's going to the Saints.
That I don't agree with, but that's fair.
We saw a lot of what was the report? A lot of the GMs don't even think he's a first round pick, Shador, which I mean we hear this shit every year. But I love Jackson Dart. I think he has a ton of potential to develop in the right system. I would go Jackson Dart here personally.
But he doesn't get a chance to develop. He's got to start year one.
So the case of this is that Bo Nix did it. Like he was a system guy that stepped in for Denver and played. I wouldn't say great, but he played well right away.
He got better as the year went on, though.
And that is it's the same exact fear with Jackson Dart. Is like that Ole Miss system was so like tailor made to make him succeed. That like if you take him out of that system, what does it exactly look like? You don't know. I mean, they have Kellen Moore there, which could boast well for him as a starter, but I don't know. I don't know how you pass on Shador, man. He's so good. Like I don't know, just escaping pocket, battle line. Like he's the perfect guy for the job there.
It feels like Atlanta would be the. Isn't it Caesars Superdome at this point? So we thought Vegas originally. But
way to make that connection, Josh.
Just feels right.
Shador, if you guys want to go Shador here,
so
I'm not
random.
Fight you, but
I don't think Dart goes above Shador. I mean,
I don't either. But like at the same time, like man, I do think Dart sneaks in here. I definitely could see it happening too.
Oh, Dart's getting drafted this round. Don't worry. All right,
I wonder what the odds are of Dart going before Sanders. I'm gonna look that up. All right, pick 10, Chicago Bears. Joe, who is saving your Chicago Bears?
It's Ashton Genty is who it's going to be. But since we already took him, I'm going to throw a wild card out there, and I'm going to go with Will Johnson from Michigan. Tyreek Stevenson was a dumbass last year and pretty much probably deserves to lose that job.
They've already talked about cutting or getting rid of him, shipping out of town.
You got Jalen Johnson. Lock up Will Johnson on that outside. The Johnson bros, Johnson and Johnson, will be shutting down wide receivers left and right. In that division, I think that's what we have to do. So give me Will Johnson.
Okay. My pick would be Tyler Warren. I'm going to throw it out there. I know I used to be on the train of they have Cole Kmet. Why would they need to do this?
Bro,
but I think
this on the last podcast and y'all.
I know. I'm here. I'm here. I am woken up and I'm ready to play. So yeah, I think that adding Tyler Warren to Ben Johnson's offense, where he can basically use him in any way, shape, or form that he wants him. Yeah, I think that would be something he would be enjoying. I do think Cole Kmet stays out there as an option, but I do think if you add Tyler Warren, this could get real dangerous.
I could definitely see Will Johnson, and I was actually going to make the argument for an edge rusher because they need someone to go along with Sweat. And for Sweat to succeed, an edge rusher makes sense here. So I actually could see them leaning edge, but I'm going to go with Tyler Warren if Billy's flipping the script. And I think it'd be great for them, easy as well. I mean, you get someone who can literally play in the backfield, and so maybe like you were looking for that Genty, maybe you still go get a running back later too. I mean, this offense could be fun, and I think you need. It's technically someone to protect him too. I mean, he's got to block a little bit too. So they beefed up the offensive line. It just doesn't. I think as we're making the argument for offensive line, I think we're good. We'll get another one sometime in the draft, but I don't think it's right here. I think it's defensive end or Tyler Warren. So
Joe, the Quinshon Judkins jersey is going to look great on this wall behind me. By the way, just letting you know.
Yeah, that'd be a cool one.
Did he go to Oklahoma too? No, I'm just kidding. All right,
Joe's so mad. No, Ohio State.
It's Genty, man. That's the pick.
Okay. On to the San Francisco 49ers. Look, Mimbu is available. It's hard for me to say that he would be the pick here with their offensive line aging and they need to replace some people. So with Mimbu here, I think you take Mimbu. I don't know if he's going to last this long in the actual draft. It makes me a little nervous that we didn't pick him yet. But he's here, so we got to take him, right?
I think it's edge, personally. You need to rebuild this whole team. It's what do they think is the best available? Mike Green, James Pierce would make a great addition to this team as well. They've always filled in with veterans to push for the year on the rest of the line, but it'd be nice to have a running mate with Nick Bosa. I imagine he's not going anywhere anytime soon. Get someone on the other side and just have a young guy grow and develop in this system, which is going to take a little bit to rebuild, but Bosa should be there for a decent while.
I don't hate it. I do think Membu is the right pick here because he's still on the board, but I also don't think Will Johnson is going to make it past 11. Yeah. They need a cornerback really bad. So I'll lean with Membu, but I agree with what Josh was saying, and I think Will Johnson could be an option here too.
It could be anyone. They could go corner too. I mean, really, it's this team just needs to rebuild. It's who do they value as the best pick, and what can they get later that would be a consolation for the other positions.
This is where Shador goes, and they just say, "Fuck you, Brock Purdy."
That would be hilarious.
That would be so interesting.
Dude, the
if that happened.
Dak dilemma going into the season would just be so fun. Like, I hate hearing about the Cowboys, but it would be funny because it'll probably be just terrible for the team. But could be a replacement.
Pick 12 on the board is the Cowboys. I'm sticking with Matthew Golden. I've been with him the whole draft process, so that's my pick.
That's who I have too. It makes it. He can be what Brandon Cooks was supposed to be in this offense last year. You have to get CeeDee Lamb's help out there. You have Ferguson, who's good. Yeah. Running back can be a second rounder for you. They've met with.
If Genty would be here, it'd be Genty, but
yeah, they've met with about every running back under the sun. So
yeah, they have. But they can address that later too. The 47th pick or whatever, 44th pick won't be a problem to get a running back. You should be able to get Judkins, Travion, Caleb Johnson. I don't know exactly how fast these running backs go. I would say Luther Burden or Igbuka, but I know that Matthew Golden got this hype all of a sudden about a month ago. Everyone got really excited about him because he's fast, which I get it. We do this every year. So I'm cool with
it's the combine, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I never understood when people just completely jump up the board, and it was fine. He was good.
Well, it either works out well, where like, even though I think he's underwhelmed, but understandably, Nolan Smith, he had a perfect combine. He was great. And then on the other hand, you have like Anthony Richardson, where he had a near perfect combine. People are saying he's the new Cam Newton, and he's not. So
to me, the Cowboys getting a role player, because that's what I think Matthew Golden's going to be, is I don't think he's going to be these beast numbers that everyone thinks. It's like, it'd be great to be on the other side of CeeDee Lamb, but it's going to be very hit and miss. Like for fantasy, I don't see Matthew Golden being what everyone thinks he is going to be in fantasy and in real life. But I hope he is.
All of these guys are wide receiver 2s at best. None of these guys is a 1. Even Ted, I would think.
The golden jump,
honestly.
I just didn't go for. I didn't bite on that. To me, I still feel like Igbuka even has, I'd say, arguably in the same ballpark. But I have Burton going here. But we can go Golden. I think we're in agreement, for you two are at least.
Yep, should have been a golf.
I just think the speed's going to keep him.
Yeah, should have been a golf.
I'm just kidding. All right, on to the Dolphins, who before today or before this week, I probably would have said they were going to do something about the O-line, but now with the Jalen Ramsey thing, I think this is like a Will Johnson, Jahdae Barron. I think they're going to go cornerback here. What do you guys think?
I do think a corner's off the board at this point, so I'm cool with that. I originally had them going offensive line because they need that, so best available tackle, basically. But yeah, I'm okay with corner being they can address a lot of issues here. Yeah,
well, if they're getting rid of Ramsey, I mean, that's a massive hole in that defense.
I didn't see any of this news. What's happening with Ramsey?
They're trying to trade him.
Yeah, they're trying to trade him.
Is it rumors or is it like specifically like Miami? Like it's happening.
Let me do the legwork while you guys talk.
Smoke, there's fire. Okay, anyway, I could see a tackle being here. You got to keep Tua upright if you want. You got about a 2-3 year window of Tua right now where, like, keep him healthy as possible. Maybe we can see longer in the future. I think an offensive tackle makes the most sense, personally. Josh Simmons would make a great points. Banks, pick one, whatever you think is going to keep Tua upright the most.
I had Calvin Banks just because I think he can grow a lot. I mean, he's still real young, but I like his talent and projection for the future. But if we want to go corner, it would be Jahdae Barron because he would pretty much do what Ramsey tries to do. So
the GM is the one that came out and said that Jalen Ramsey's getting traded.
So they must know they're getting one of these corners and be okay with it because
it seems that way.
You're not getting a stud in the second round to fill Jalen Ramsey's shoes. Although I will say Jalen Ramsey paid a lot, so it makes sense to try to move on and build this team better. But I don't know. Maybe are they going to make a trade up then too? And I don't know. Dolphins could do some fun stuff, but
it's cool interesting.
If we want.
They need a cornerback and they need O-line. So I think cornerback is the one they go first, and then they go O-line second round.
Okay, cool. I'm good with Jahdae Barron. I did not know about that, but I honestly could see them going either way in the first place. But
yeah, might be a draft night trade. Who knows? All right, on to pick 14, which is the Colts. They also need a tight end. I man, there's so many people that love Colston Loveland, but I just like I don't know. I don't know if that's what we do here. Personally,
I don't.
What are you guys thinking?
No, absolutely not. I have Walter Nolan going here. It makes the most sense. Get someone sound on that defensive line. The defense is fine at best on a good day. Go get someone who can make a splash play and sure up that inside line. DeForest Buckner's not going to play forever.
I love
Joe?
Nolan, and I'm glad you said that, but you might have convinced me. But
Edge might be great too. I mean, we could go Mike Green or Easy as well. I'm cool with any D line, but I think you got to get someone on that line that makes it scary.
Yeah, I mean, I had Will Johnson. I had Jade Barron going here. I think they need corner really bad, so that would be my vote. But
Still got Kenny Moore. I mean, I know he's not what he was, but
they got Charvarius Ward. They got Kenny. They have
I don't think they're hurting for corners. Their team's bad. I think they need to make pressures so their corners can actually have a chance. And Nick Cross, although for some reason I've seen trade rumors about Nick Cross, he had a breakout year, and they're already thinking about trading him. The Colts defense is a mess. They got to go defense regardless. But I'm cool with whatever. I just personally think it's going to be Edge or Walter Nolan, just best available.
No. You guys decide.
Billy?
Way to go, Joe.
They should get Shador, or Jackson Dog.
I don't. They brought in Flacco, the goat.
I will go Will Johnson.
No, Flacco went to the Browns.
That's right. They brought in Indiana Jones. I forgot.
Indiana Jones, baby.
Yeah, forgot they brought in Indy.
Billy, do you have a concession, or are we?
I mean, Nolan's fine with me. I don't really. I didn't have anybody to begin with because I've seen Loveland go here in a lot of drafts, but I don't personally believe in that. So Nolan's fine by me.
I think Loveland's coming up, but I don't think he's right here.
What is getting another tight end for this quarterback?
Let's get Nolan because Nolan's not going to make it this far. He's
unless it's Warren. Like if they get Warren, it makes sense. Like because that can change the whole offense. But if you don't get Warren, I don't think Loveland is as good.
No, I think Warren is their target, and I think they hope that he'll make it there. But honestly, I think Warren's going to be pretty highly coveted too. But anyway, let's go Walter Nolan then, just to get him off the board because I don't think he makes it this far.
Atlanta is pick 15. I believe they go edge rusher Mike Green. They did bring in Leonard Floyd, but I don't think that's enough to make this a vaunted sack getting group. So give me Mike Green for me.
Yeah, Mike Green or Easy is cool with me. Honestly, I have no clue what they'll do because Atlanta always seems to be doing some off-the-wall shit. So, honestly, I think this is what they should do. I don't think it's what they will do. I think we will be wrong on this pick, no matter who we pick, because I don't think we'll be prepared for this pick.
Okay, if Josh gets to put his foot down on Walter Nolan, I'm putting my foot down on Will Johnson. He is not making it this far, and they need a cornerback, so he's going there.
Okay. I had him as to Joe. To be fair, I had him as the next pick, so that's fair. We can get him out right here if you would like.
All right, I'm cool with it. I honestly don't care because I don't think we're gonna be right.
I do think the only problem with the Falcons is they do need an edge rusher, so they do need to figure that out in this draft because they have allowed that.
That's what they should do. I don't think that's what they will.
Okay, what they will do. Okay,
Braylon Trice will be back.
Starks could go. Who's the Amon Wari? I could see them doing that. Like, weird shit. Which, to be fair, both good players. But
next pick on the board is the Cardinals. This is where I had Will Johnson or Jade Barron. I think whoever doesn't go first goes here to the Cardinals. However, with both of those off of the board in this draft, I don't know. I don't know what to do here. You could do edge rusher, I guess. I don't necessarily think that is the most pressing issue on this team. I could listen to wide receiver potentially. I don't know. I'm all over the place with this one.
I think it's offensive line. I would go Josh Simmons here or Calvin Banks. Paris Campbell's fine. Jonah Williams cannot stay healthy on the right side. So I would say Josh Simmons probably makes the most sense because he has more experience there. But I don't know.
Yeah, honestly, this is another team that doesn't like need one position. Like they could use a lot of positions, but they don't like absolutely need. Like if they don't draft this, it's not a no-brainer pick here. Like they could easily go wide receiver and get Luther Burden on their team, and I wouldn't be surprised. But I was going to say exactly what Joe said was Simmons seems like the best pick here, and it's probably what they will do. Shore up that offensive line. You invested a bunch in the running game. You have your Marvin Harrison. Give Kyler some time to throw the ball down the field to Marvin Harrison. You got Trey McBride. They don't really need a third weapon, but I could see him doing it just for fun. But I think it's probably Simmons.
All right, O-line it is. We going to go Banks?
Simmons.
Or Simmons. Simmons it is.
Banks is gone.
All right. No, he's still available. All right, on to the Bengals. They have what I would call a defensive problem, I guess. I don't know how else to say it. We don't know what they're doing with Hendrickson yet. That is an interesting part of this offense. I do think there's a chance he gets traded on draft night. I don't know how likely that is. I don't really necessarily think edge rusher is what they do here, but I guess if they trade Hendrickson, it's going to leave a hole, right? So they could go Mike Green or Easy.
It will. I think they're a team that's going to be doing some trades on draft night. I don't know if it's up or down, but I definitely think that if they draft someone like Mike Green or Easy, which I think that's probably what they do, that's pretty much saying, hey, we're trading Hendrickson, or Hendrickson hasn't given us a chance to pay him enough, or I don't know, whatever. I don't know if they can get that contract done personally, but it doesn't sound like talks are going great. So I think they replace, or at the very least, replace Sam Hubbard, who just retired, and having their next edge rusher in waiting. Trey Hendrickson is also like 30 years old too, so it's not like he's going to play forever. Like you need to replace that position. That's a great place to start by fixing this awful. I say fixing, band-aiding this terrible defense.
Yeah. I don't think Miles Murphy's the answer. I think you have to go edge here. I would throw Michael Williams' hat in the ring because I think he's probably one of the most pro-ready.
Yeah.
Ready to step in, but either way.
We can go anyone. I feel like Mike Green is going to be long gone, and so will Pierce at this point. I think we're getting to the point where both of them could be picked, but Easy also in the mix. So Michael's cool. I don't really care, but I'd lean Green.
Let's go Green.
I lean Green too.
I lean Green.
All right, pick 18 is the Seattle Seahawks. I am going to go off the board and go with Gray Zabel, center out of North Dakota State.
You know, there is going to be some obnoxious stuff out here.
I had Tyler Booker.
Tyler Booker is also a good choice.
They got Cross and Lucas on the edges. Get your middle short up, so either one.
I don't think this man exists in the draft.
North Dakota State.
Where is his name?
I don't think he's in here. How do you spell it?
That one. Oh, he's listed as a tackle. Interesting.
Yeah. That's why I went into your.
That is not how I had him listed. I had him listed as a center, but I think he would be my choice.
So I had him going Banks, and I don't know what they do to pivot to let Banks fit, but I just feel like best available. But I'm cool with interior.
No, Banks is probably the answer because on most obvious drafts that I have done or have seen, he's long gone by this point, so that might just be the answer.
I'm cool as able too. I'm sorry, I didn't realize he was listed as a tackle on here.
Joe looks like he's fuming. We're going Banks.
We can go Booker too. I really don't care. They're getting an offensive line.
I love
the glasses. The glasses hide your true emotion, Joe. We can't tell.
I don't think Banks makes sense for Seattle. That's my only holdup. I mean, he should be gone by now completely, but
fair. Maybe they figure a way out to put him inside like somehow. I don't know. Or they kick somebody else inside and put him on the outside.
I think that's more likely.
Also a possibility.
The Eagles did it with Becton. It's possible, man. You know, and figure out the future. I mean, he's going to be on the team for 10 plus years. Usually, offensive linemen last a pretty long time. So
sometimes you just take the talent. Who knows? All right, on to the Bucks, who could literally go anywhere here. I think it's going to be Emanowore or Starks. I'm leaning Emanowore, but I can listen to whatever you all think.
This is my favorite time in the draft because anyone can go, and it's whatever's left and whatever people want. But I 100% agree with Joe. It's Jihad. This team needs a star defensive player again. They've had their guys. Levante David's somehow still on the team. They need that star middle linebacker, and Jihad is the guy.
Fair enough. anything defensive related. I swear to God, if they
Sorry,
draft
I didn't
offense,
talk.
I'm gonna be pissed. Unless it's O line, okay, we could do that. But anything not O line or defense, Bucks, what are we doing? We know the holes on this team. Please just do what you need to do here. All right.
Seriously.
Denver Broncos is pick 20. Don't really think we need to talk much about this. I think it's Amari and Hampton, unless you guys have had an epiphany. Oh, no. Joe's had an epiphany. Hand up. What do you got?
Okay. I'm staying with running back. It's Travion Henderson. He is an absolute run hitter. He can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can be Kamara-ish for Sean Payton. I think he immediately is a weapon on this team. He's more versatile than Amarion Hampton is, even though Hampton makes a lot of sense. But I think you really need some lightning on this team, and I think Travion Henderson's a choice.
So here's my fear, Joe. Sorry, Josh, I'm not trying to jump in here. My fear with Travion Henderson is he a 3-down back? I don't know for sure. I don't. I'm not sold 100%. Well, but at the same time, he could just go, hey, let me get Alvin Kamara. I'll make Hampton Alvin Kamara, and we'll just roll with it, and that'll just be the guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Because I think Hampton does profile as a 3-down back.
Forte, so it makes sense. But I think Travion Henderson is more of your big play guy, and they have none of that.
I mean, that part I do agree with you with.
They have
honestly,
Steady Eddie, Evan Ingram. They have Cortland Sutton. I mean, I guess you have Marvin Mims as your big play guy, but putting Travion Henderson on this field would make a ton of sense with this offense. But I'm fine with Omarion. I like him too.
Okay. Josh, what do you got?
Yeah, it's a wide receiver. So I do think they get a running back in this draft, but they do not draft first-round running backs, or at least not well. And I don't think they need to rush. With this draft board, there's no point. Like, it'd be different if Hampton went and they needed to panic buy, or if they really believe that this one, Travion's the guy, and Travion could be the guy. But I mean, I just feel like Luther Burden's the answer here. It could be Igbuka. I actually had Burden gone at this point. I had Igbuka going here. I think they go wide receiver and try to get someone on the other side of Sutton. Mims is fun, and we hope that that's something. Vele, we have no idea, and then Troy Franklin is like the biggest question mark. You know what I mean? Obviously, they went out and got Evan Ingram, but there's been rumors of trading Cortland Sutton. Like, they got to build this from the ground up with Bo, and Sutton's on his way out of this team at some point, whether it's this year or not. I think it's with their Burden getting their draft pick now.
I would make the case that Denver, of all of these teams, would be the one where Burden would go if he gets a first round pick, because I think the creativity and his usage could be good. But I mean, really, he's more of that gadget guy. He's more of that. I just don't know if they invest in that when running back would really set this offense off. But
I mean, they obviously need it. I just feel like it's almost too obvious at this point, and I just feel like
I'd rather see him wait and get Higgins or Savion Williams or something.
I do think they grab one in the second round.
I think Harvey could be the guy that. I mean, there's options. Judkins could make it there. Caleb Johnson, Sampson.
So the problem is there's like a tier list of like who can actually do this and who we're pretty sure can do this and who like we're not sure can do this. And I mean, Hampton and Genty, I think, are on the I think they're for sure going to do this. And then there's a tier breakdown where you're like not sure if they can do this, but they probably could, like Judkins, for example, or Henderson or Johnson, or even I still don't get how Scadaboo is up here in the conversation with everyone else, but whatever.
Their rankings are a little weird. But
like how are we talking about Scadaboo above Judkins and Henderson? I'm not positive, and there's a lot of other guys down this list too. I just feel like let's take the for sure. The bird in the hand's worth what, 2 in the bush or whatever. Like I'd rather just grab the guy who's going to make sense here.
Yeah, I'll switch to Hampton if you guys are very serious about your running backs. But I love the argument, Joe.
Running backs are back.
Running backs are back, and I think there's another one that makes it in this draft, but we'll get there.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, on to the Pittsburgh Steelers, who literally, if you could find a mock draft that has had the same player in a different mock draft, then you probably have struck gold, because literally there's a different guy in every single mock draft for this spot. This could go anywhere. However, I think all roads lead to Jackson Dart. I really do.
If Dart's here, you have to take him.
I think it's Dart.
So, firstly, I've seen Shadur slip this far for some reason, and I mean, I personally don't think he's the 21st pick. I think he should be a little higher than this, personally.
That'd be nasty.
I feel like Dart's the question mark. I don't know what kind of picks they got for the second round, but if they're picking 40 or 53 as the next pick, like you got to get someone in there that you know is for sure. Like unless they already have their second pick planned and they don't think anyone's even going to touch it. But yeah, I mean, I understand the obvious one is go quarterback because.
Do you guys think that they haven't signed Aaron Rodgers because they are planning to make a move for Shador, or they're planning on Jackson Dart starting or something like that? Do you think that might be a reason?
Whether or not they're planning on it, they have to at least have had these conversations because Aaron Rodgers will not sign there. And maybe they told him we're drafting a quarterback. Like it's not to replace you. It's for them, like you to teach them, and it's going to be the future. And Rodgers might just not agree with it. Or maybe Rodgers doesn't want to coach Shador or Dart for that matter. Maybe he doesn't like them as a person. I don't know. Like there's something going on behind closed doors because this weird non-Rodgers signing with 1 week to the draft. Maybe we'll have answers by the time the draft hits, but I don't know if we will.
I mean, he says he wants to retire if he doesn't go to a contender, which honestly, bringing DK Metcalf in with that defense, offensive line's fine. It makes a ton of sense, and I think, I mean, like Tomlin should bring him in because if it doesn't work out, you just blame Aaron Rodgers and you keep your seat a little bit cooler. But I don't know.
But you can't tell me Tomlin's not trying to win at this point for one.
No, he absolutely is. But I think you have to take a quarterback here. Whether Rodgers
you could still sign Rodgers and then just grab Dart too. You could grab Dart and then sign Rodgers, being like, "Hey, Dart is the future here. If you fuck up, you're out, and we're gonna have this guy come in." So I guess you could do it that way too.
Do you think Rodgers saw what happened to Kirk Cousins last year and was like, I'm not letting that happen to me? And is waiting for after the draft, whoever doesn't get their quarterback?
I guess Rodgers, that could be it. I don't know. He's an enigma.
Be waiting for what happens with Kirk Cousins, honestly.
That too.
That's true. That is true. So I guess we're going Dart with a big surprise.
We can go surprise Dart there. There's no problem with that.
All right, next pick on the board is the Los Angeles Chargers. I think we need to start talking wide receivers if we're up to me. I think this is a good Ibuka spot or a good Burden spot. Burden kind of redundant a little bit, so maybe Puddin would be Burden, but Ibuka I could definitely listen to at this. Unless you guys think it's some other position.
Yeah, I actually had defense going here. I think wide receiver, but I'm so good with talking wide receiver. I just feel like with Easy sitting here, I think I originally had Easy going here, but with Pierce still sitting there, I think I could go either one of them. Kenneth Grant could be in the conversation as well, but that doesn't seem like the splashy pick that they need to make right now. This is also another Colson Loveland like landing spot for sure. Not even the Michigan connection, just what makes sense for the team. But also the Michigan connection doesn't hurt.
I had Walter Nolan or Colson Loveland. Josh, I think you're right, though, with James Pierce sitting here. I mean, Khalil Mack's 34 years old.
Ditched Bosa.
You need an edge presence on this team, and if James Pierce is still sitting here, then fire him up.
I think they're going to go. They're going to grab something wide receiver like in the next round, but I think the D line addressing it or the Loveland thing. He didn't do it last year with any Michigan players, or at least not reaching by any means. But this actually fits the landing spot. Like it fits for the team, fits the position. I don't know how exactly I feel about Colson Loveland, but if he goes to Harbaugh's team, I think I'd be okay with him.
Okay, so James Pierce or Colson Loveland?
James Pierce?
I think Pierce is the pick.
Pierce would be fun. That would be fun.
Build this defense back again.
All right, pick 23, Green Bay Packers. They're not taking a wide receiver. I'm sorry. I'm refusing them taking a wide receiver in the first round because they are doomed to take a second round wide receiver to waste year after year for the rest of their lives.
It would be great if they finally went and did it.
Yeah, the problem is that guy is now doomed to be, behind Tavian Wicks or something on this team.
Well, Christian Watson's not going to really be playing to start the year. You got Dobbs and Wicks, who is basically the same guy. And you got Reed, who's the gadget player. I think Buka could fit in this role as the number one. But number one in a position that has 4 number twos could be great.
Yeah, I just think if you have the amount of number twos that they have, that this is just going to end up being another number two. My pick for this spot is Shamar Stewart. I think
That's
they
exactly
could.
who I had.
Okay. Well, I'm glad when we talked about this on the golf course earlier, that is who we came up with together. I'm just kidding. We didn't. It's crazy that we didn't talk about this and how we're thinking the same thing.
Okay,
it just seems like Shamar Stewart is a Green Bay Packers pick.
Dude,
it really does.
Analysis I have here.
I'm so not against it, but like, do we talk about Easy since he's sitting here, or do we think? I mean, he could be a guy who slips as well. He's been projected.
I just don't think Easy is as good as like Shamar Stewart. I don't think he's as good as Scourton either. By the way, I just feel like PFF ranked them how they felt.
Well, he's mocked in the middle of drafts, and I've seen him at the bottom, and I've seen him a little higher. Like, he's been all over the place. So I do like Easy, and I think he's going to have a good career. But I think he gets drafted soon. But I'm good with Shamar Stewart. I do like Scourton too. So Shamir, your Green Bay Packers.
I just think his combine performance is going to keep him relevant.
You're right. Pick 24, Minnesota Vikings. I once upon a time would have thought they were taking a running back. I have since soured on that. I do feel like Malachi Starks would be fun here. I do think a safety would be interesting for them. What are you guys thinking?
Yeah, safety works. I think I had Kenneth Grant going here, which just felt right with the Vikings. Boring pick, but important to the integral to the defense. And their defense did take a couple hits over the offseason. I mean, they built it with some other pieces as well, but it's not as good as it once was, you know. But it still has pieces.
I had Nick Amanawari going here. I just think with his size. And
either one, I will take either one on this team.
The only reason I didn't take Starks is because of a narrative thing I'm going on here. So
interesting. What is that narrative? Are you gonna save that one for the draft?
Find out at pick 32.
I will say I don't think Amanawari is ranked.
I wonder what pick is 32 and what school Malachi Starks went to. I wonder what you're working with there, Joe.
Yeah, you kind of hit the nail on the head there, Bill.
Pick 25 is the Houston Texans. The Ibuka slide stops here for me.
Best collegiate season was with Stroud. Give me Ibuka.
Yeah, it just makes sense. I mean, I didn't know they crossed over. We talked about that last time, and I was like, I had to look it up later. I was like, oh my gosh,
wow,
they did.
Ibuka's been in college a while.
Well, it's not even that. It just feels like Stroud's been out for 5 years, but it's really been 2. Like,
sure.
There's very much possibilities that people he played with are still in college or coming back into it. So
true.
Yeah, I'm good with Ibuka here.
Okay. Moving on to the Los Angeles Rams. Colston Loveland?
Jalen Milroe.
Okay.
Ooh, I was going to bring it up if you didn't.
He got invited to the draft. He's the perfect guy under Stafford here. He's got all the tools. McVay can work with.
This is his last shot, too. Like, he can go ahead and leave the draft room if he doesn't get picked here.
I was about to say, I honestly had no clue why. Not necessarily why he's there, but who is going to take him. I guess it makes sense for the Rams. I mean, I saw he did a visit with Seattle as well, which I think they would trade down in order to do that, but whatever. Okay. Okay.
They could trade down. I mean, they could also trade up and go after Warren as well, potentially. I mean, the tight end position, they don't really have any assets to trade up. Never mind. Who am I kidding? Yeah, I'm good with Loveland, but I do think it's Milroe. Like, just something deep down inside. Like, they couldn't commit to Stafford, and then they finally grabbed him back. Like, there's no succession plan right now, and it's not Stetson Bennett. I like him, but he's not that good. He's a Chase Daniel career backup.
I do think also a thing we can't do in this, but we could actually happen in real life is a trade up. Somebody could, like the Browns, could just randomly appear here, trade up into the round and grab Milroe, or somebody that had like the Giants could also do the same. That wouldn't totally shock anybody, right? Like if they did that. But I do think if anybody who on our current draft board is going to do it, it'd be the Rams.
I love
Let's do it. Let's put Milroe in there, man. We're going for the 4 QBs.
Spicy. All right, on to the Baltimore Ravens. This does seem like an easy spot to me, potentially, or Scourton, but I do think Malachi Starks also, but I know Joe's trying to work on a thing here.
I got a whole thing going on.
I know, you have a whole thing.
I had corner going here, but I don't think there's
I did
anyone
too.
like worth grabbing at this point. I mean,
Hairston could go.
Hairston.
I had Siobhan Revel going here because he's
Revel could
6'3".
also go.
They lost Brandon Stevens. They only have 2 guys other than Awuzie, and Awuzie is hurt all the time. So
Kobe Bryant.
I think Siobhan would be a good pick.
Okay, we
Yeah,
can go Revel.
they can do whatever they want here. I mean, honestly, it's just for fun at this point for the Ravens. I mean, obviously they like to win, but best available. I mean, they'll go something weird if there's something that slips down the board. This is where it stops. Which, speaking of, we still have Luther Burden on the board. I think he would have on there.
Potential. All right, Lions. I do think this could be an interesting spot for Luther Burden. Honestly, I'm gonna be the weird one that says it.
No, honestly, there's some. I mean, there's rumors about all kinds of things, but the Jamison Williams trade has been fantasized, at least in fantasy channels, because people have mentioned that he has 1 year left on his deal. They're not going to be able to pay him, and he's had off the field issues, as they say. But he just broke out. Like, they're not getting rid of him. Like, yes, you could go and trade in and go get the next best thing, but at this point, you're not getting the same thing if you're drafting, Luther Burden or Egbuka is who I could see going in this.
I just think they need a third, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Patrick's fine for now. I just feel like it's one of those, like, rags to riches type situation. You got Laporta, Jameson, Amon-Ra. They're built like the Eagles, too, like A.J. Brown, Devontae, Goddard for the moment. It's just one of those things, like, do you really need another target out there? You got 2 great running backs, 3 great receivers, people in the backfield. Like, they'll grab a wide receiver, I imagine, but I just don't see first round. I mean, they could, but whatever you guys
Definitely
think.
could. I think Dan Campbell's juicing his pants right now because Michael Williams is still on the board. And they need someone on the other side of Hutch badly.
Yeah, I was going to say, Easy or Scorton was where I'm going with this. I think I had Scourton here. Scorton or Scourton? Scourton?
I think it's Scourton.
Scourton. Sorry,
I mean, that's fine by me. We can go with that. That's fine.
Yeah, I think they learned last year how valuable that second edge rusher is when Hutch went down. And that defense needed a lot of work after that happened. So they lost a lot of injuries, to be fair. But.
Pick 29, the Washington Commanders. I know this has been a huge running back spot for Joe. So, Joe, do you want to get your spiel out of the way?
My spiel. Yeah, so since we took Amarion Hampton, I am taking Travion Henderson at this pick. You got everything on this team. You have 2 choices. You can protect Jaden Daniels, or you can get an absolute weapon on this field. Travion Henderson makes a ton of sense for Jaden Daniels. The amount of field stretching, and I mean, you got Terry McLaurin, you got Debo to worry about. You got Zach Ertz, who's still going to pull some pressure out there. You got Jaden Daniels, who could run at any minute. If you have a team in the NFL where Travion Henderson could score an 80-yard touchdown at will, it is Washington. I love getting a running back on this team. We got an old Austin Eckler. He's fine. We've got Brian Robinson, who's hurt a lot. Jeremy McNichols, who falls in the end zone, kind of like a Craig Reynolds type. Get a real running back on this team and just watch the sparks fly. It'll be amazing.
I saw in a mock draft that someone had Tyler Warren going to the Commanders at this pick. And I was like, all right, I deleted it. I just closed it. I was like, all right, I don't even need to see you pick for the Eagles, because if you're picking that, then I don't know what you're going to draft for the Eagles. Joe is 100% accurate. It can be Travion Henderson. It can be Judkins, whoever they think is best. Hampton could make it this far as well. I mean, the first-round running back situation isn't something that happens often, or at least a lot of them. But I do believe that they're mad at Austin Eckler for essentially throwing away their playoff chance. I mean, to be fair, they lost that game evenly, but they also threw away any opportunity they could. And Eckler's on the outs at the moment. He's still there, but there's going to be an heir apparent going on. And Brian Robinson wasn't it either, because they couldn't have him on the field during those plays.
I'm with Henderson. That's my pick.
Henderson works.
I
for this.
I don't know if I'm going to love it right away until I see the vision, because they have so many running backs there. But at the same time, like, Joe, you're right. Let's consolidate our 4 quarters into $1. You know. All right.
The vision is
pick.
beautiful.
I made this argument last week, but I guess you guys had this conversation on the golf course, so that's fine.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the whole draft while we were out there. Pick 30, Buffalo Bills. This is kind of I don't know. It's an interesting pick because I think they need defense pretty badly, but what part of it I don't know. I mean, Kenneth Grant definitely strikes my eye here as still being available. But what are you guys thinking?
Honestly, like they could go. This is a pick that could go anywhere. This could be a trade out as well. But yeah, I think since Kenneth Grant's still there, that's probably their pick. But Luther Burden could also be in the mix here too. I mean, they don't have a star wide receiver that they want to throw to, and they don't really need one by getting one from Luther Burden. It's just another guy that Josh Allen can chuck the ball down the field for. But since they're picking at pick 30, they can do whatever they want really. So best available. I'd say Luther Burden, but Kenneth Grant works for me as well.
Cornerback also something they need on this team, so it could be like a Hairston situation.
Michael Williams. God damn it. They do need a cornerback. I had
Is it
Walter
not Michael
Nolan
Williams
going
up here?
here.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's a fit, but we got to get Michael on a team here. That would be my vote.
Is it to get him off before the Eagles get him?
No, it's not.
I'll say he's from Georgia too, Joe.
I know. Well, this opened up a whole new thread for me here. We could.
You got to draft 2 Georgia guys if you don't want the Eagles getting one.
I would love to see Trey Harris in Buffalo, but
Trey Harris could be fun, and that's also
Trey Harris could be available in the next round too, though.
But will he be? I know. I'm just playing. I would love to see Trey Harris. Pick whatever you guys want.
Okay, fair enough.
Agreed on Grant. We talked about. I'm cool with a corner as well. I'm also cool with your guy.
Grant or Hairston. I think both of those guys would be solid pickups for this team. Maybe Hairston because they literally don't have a cornerback.
They have no.
So
that
maybe
seems
Hairston.
Like the more likely.
Yeah, because that has a literal starter spot opening there. All right, Chiefs are picking 31. I do think they probably take a long, hard look at Colston Loveland here. If he's still available, which he probably won't be, but he could be.
Man, he is available in our draft, and man, they've drafted so many tight ends. Not in the first round or anything, but what statement with that? I mean, Travis has got to be getting close to the end of his career. He's still playing fine. I mean, he's definitely slower, but I don't know when he wants to quit. Like, has he really said? Like, is it one more year? Is it just until they can't go to the Super Bowl anymore? Like,
the problem is they need a regular season tight end. I know that they have their playoff guy, but they need a regular season tight end to play the position week in, week out.
I love the Loveland pick. Honestly, that's kind of where I want to go with this.
It's not necessarily what they need, but based on the board that we have here, it would be tough to say they don't get him.
Yeah, I had Booker going here, I think, originally.
I had Booker here too, but I think Billy sold me on this.
I'm sold on Loveland. Like the official end of an era for Kelsey.
They tried with Wiley.
Farewell tour.
He's still injured. So
yeah,
all right.
That would be
so
now we've really backed ourselves into a corner here. By the way, so now we're at pick 32. Malachi Stark's available. Michael Williams available. Kenneth Grant available. Easy available. Luther Burden out of nowhere still available. I mean, all of these guys are probably going to go in the first round, but maybe not. At the same time,
100% Starks. If he makes it this far, which I think he will, I mean it'll be close at least. Like he's projected in the back half of the draft. If Starks goes here, I think it's him. Like edge rusher will be addressed in this draft, and we might even. There's been rumors of trading for Travion, and T.J. Watt's been in the mix for trades lately. I don't see that happening personally, but I think they go and get themselves an edge rusher a bit later, and Starks is the pick.
But wouldn't it be interesting if they added a slot receiver from Missouri to put onto this team? Would that not be interesting a little bit? Slightly?
They did do it with Macklin, and I absolutely loved it. I think I said it last draft. I would love to see them go get Burden. I mean, this is a gratuitous pick as well. I love how there's wide receiver as a need for the Eagles. I understand there's not really much behind Devontae and AJ. And I was
about to say, because they need a 3 and they don't really have anybody else on the team other than the top 2, which you don't need more than 2. But
the way I could see them going Burden here is because we might be shipping Goddard out at this point, and that makes me think we need a third wide receiver at that point because Goddard's filled that role very well, obviously, over the years in Calcaterra. The two of them had an 800-yard season last year or something like that. So
Okay. Joe, I kind of let
Burton,
you
good fit.
steer your agenda here.
Oh, it's Starks, Georgia.
I think you're probably right. It's either Starks or Williams. Both of them went to Georgia. Clearly, Howie sees how good Georgia's defense is and just like, okay, let's just make them NFL players.
Well, at this
and,
point, they're just
that
friends,
makes
dude.
total
They're
sense.
like, come on over, man. Come to the team.
It's literally like a pipeline.
Let's say Michael Williams is the one who's been mostly mocked here, but since Starks is available, I think they take it. Replace that GJ position. I don't know how they feel about Sidney Brown, but I think he plays a role, but it's hard to say that he's the starter at the moment. We don't really have a. Really
did Sidney Brown play at Georgia?
No, he did not.
I think Starks would be the perfect fit though, because he can quarterback that defense, because that's what he did at Georgia. So you have a proven leader on this team. Yeah.
But I wouldn't be shocked if they go Burden, and we're gonna be toasty at that point. But we'll enjoy that pick whenever it finally comes.
If they pick Burden, that would be insane. I'm gonna love the heck out of that.
I think Burden goes higher. I think
he does too. But then again, there's like 5 people on this list right now I think are going higher. So backed ourselves into a corner a little bit.
We always back ourselves in a corner. It's only 32 picks, man, and there's 38 or so people that could go in the first round. So easy
we did take 4 quarterbacks, which
I do think it's gonna happen.
Bolder men haven't done.
It happens, but
and 3 running backs.
3 running backs as well.
All right, we want to read this off.
Yeah, you want me to do it? I got you. Pick number 1, Tennessee Titans select Cam Ward. Pick 2, the Browns select Travis Hunter. Pick 3, the New York Giants take Abdul Carter. Number 4, the New England Patriots select Will Campbell. 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Mason Graham. 6, despite Joe's better judgment, the Raiders take Ashton Denty. 7, the Jets take Tet McMillan. 8, the Panthers take Jalen Walker. 9, the Saints take Shadur Sanders. Be a lot of fun. Pick 10, the Chicago Bears settle since they couldn't get Genty and get Tyler Warren. Pick 11, the San Francisco 49ers take Armand Minbu. 12, the Cowboys take Matthew Golden. 13, the Dolphins take Jahdae Barron. 14, the Colts take Walter Nolan. 15, the Falcons take Will Johnson. 16, the Cardinals take Josh Simmons. 17, Josh is going to have to scroll up because I can't see it right now.
My bad. Mike Green.
The Bengals take Mike Green. 18, the Seattle Seahawks take Kelvin Banks Jr. 19, the Buccaneers take Jihad Campbell. 20, the Broncos take Omarion Hampton. 21, the Steelers take Jackson Dart. 22, the Chargers take James Pierce. 23, Green Bay Packers select Shamar Stewart. 24, Minnesota Vikings take Nick Emmanuel. 25, the Houston Texans take Emeka Egbuka. 26, the Rams take Jalen Milroe. 27, the Ravens take Siobhan Revel? I don't know. I'd find out on that one. 28, the Lions take Nick Scourton. 29, the Commanders take Travion Henderson. 30, the Bills take Maxwell Hairston. 31, the Chiefs replace Kelsey with Colston Loveland. And 32, the pipeline from Georgia continues to the Eagles, and they take Malachi Starks.
Yeah, now that I'm looking back on it, I really feel like it's probably going to be edge rusher. Their line really did get depleted for the Eagles. But Malachi Starks would be, if he makes it this far, it's going to be a hard choice for them.
Yeah, so the problem with not being able to do trades is I do feel like the Browns are going to be trading back into the first round. I think they're going to give up their second round pick and get a quarterback, because I don't think that they're going to go into the season thinking that old Flacco, broken Deshaun Watson, and Kenny the Pickett is what's going to lead this team to success or saving everyone's job. So I do think they go out for a quarterback. I just like, is that Milroe? Is that Dart? Like, I just don't know, you know?
I got an idea. Let's all say one team we believe is going to trade up or down in the first round. And you can choose a team to trade back up, like the Browns to trade up to get into the first round.
All right, I'll go first because I already know who I think it's going to be. I think the Washington Commanders are going to trade down. I think they can take a running back in the second round. They could get Travion Henderson here, and I do think that would be a stellar pick, and we would all be very excited when that happens. However, I do think with a draft that's like this flush with running backs, they could potentially trade down and get somebody close to Travion Henderson's value at 29. And I think the Browns go up, and I think one of these quarterbacks that we took, either Jackson Dart or Jalen Milroe, is going to be available there, and they'd snag him at that spot. Whichever one didn't get drafted for whatever reason.
Interesting. Joe?
I think the Giants could trade down.
Yeah.
And land Shador later. They could land Dart later. They have a ton of needs on this team. And Abdul Carter would... There'd be a lot of teams wanting to move up for that. I think a smart person would just take Abdul Carter. But the Giants are not smart. And they could trade down and recoup some draft picks to try to fill out that roster somewhere.
Since you guys have both trade downs, I'm going to go a little exciting and say who the person is that's going to be trading up, and I think that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they thought they had quarterbacks over and over and over again this offseason, and none of them worked out, and they all kept picking a different team and or Aaron Rodgers and just won't make a decision. Unless they're just worried that Shador is going to, or like let's say Rodgers is just worried Shador is going to slip to 21 and they might draft him. But I think they make the move. I think they say, hey, listen, Rodgers, we gotta build our team, man. I don't know what you want from us at this point. Like you have to sign or we're drafting someone. So it could change between the week. But I think they're trading up to get Shador, or maybe even Dart if Shador goes sooner. It's going to be an interesting domino that might fall. Like let's say Shador goes at 9 or 7 or 6 even. I mean, or 3. I mean, to the Giants, I think they panic and they go, we have to get someone, and Jackson Dart's the only option at this moment. Like we can't even make the decision. So
it's all true. What we can definitely say is there will be some trades in the first round. Like the fact that we haven't had any and we are literally 8 days out from the draft happening is bonkers to me that we haven't had anything yet, but something's going to happen.
People usually save it for draft day, especially if you're looking for the 4th pick.
Well, some, but usually we have already had some crazy trade by now. Like usually something's already fallen. So the fact that nothing has,
if Abdul Carter starts to slip, I could see someone trading up for him too, because I've seen him dropping some draft boards lately, especially when quarterbacks are getting drafted.
Well, if he gets to the Patriots are taking him. I don't think he falls anything past that. However, if he gets to the Giants, I definitely think they could trade out, like Joe said, because they don't necessarily need him. Having better players is always helpful, but they don't necessarily need to have him there, and they could pick up more capital.
Carter drop down to like the bottom 10 or top 10, but bottom of the top.
See, who are these people doing this?
I don't know, man. I
get trying to be different, but like if you're having Abdul Carter go in like 10. Like what are you watching?
Agreed.
Like that's just crazy to me.
If he slips, there's no way. I don't think he makes it to 5 because I think the Jaguars and the Patriots would gladly trade out if they didn't.
Well, I think they'd take him,
but they would just take him more likely. Yeah.
Honestly, the more I look at this, like especially with this Travis Hunter news about him, wanting to quit if he can't play both positions, really. Every team in the top 10 outside of Cam Ward could be trade back candidates easily. And we have a lot of these teams that are lower that need quarterbacks. So it could be very interesting.
This top 10, really top 15 is interesting. And a lot of things, someone's going to slip and someone's going to get a friggin' steal at some point. Travis Hunter's been mocked later because of the issues. I mean, not bottom 10, but he's been mocked to like 5 or 6, 4,
Travis Hunter is another one not making it. See, I actually kind of like the Patriots played their way out of like the top 3 last year, which is unfortunate for them. But like they're kind of sitting in the best spot because either A, they get Will Campbell, which is kind of, the boring pick for them, but they get him, or one of the other 3 teams ahead of them does something stupid and they end up with either Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, like all these things are good for them. So I don't hate where they're at. That's a good spot.
I would love to see Travis Hunter on the Patriots and be able to play.
Perfect landing spot.
Well, that's what the Patriots would have wanted too, but they won. Unfortunately, a meaningless game.
That will happen. We all know about that, Bears.
It will.
Or Texans.
Okay.
Texans.
That is
Thank
our
you for
final
that.
mock draft. We're going to post this on Twitter probably, and I'm going to tag some people so that we can get some hate comments because we love that this time of year.
Love a good comment.
We're going to do one kind of quickish podcast next Wednesday where we kind of go through our last minute questions. Mainly it's like looking at what Vegas is thinking is going to happen betting wise and just kind of seeing like if that's kind of aligning with what we think versus like what could we do to make potentially some money on through some gambles. And then Thursday we're going to be live for a long time, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, however long the first round lasts. And we're going to be live reacting, which is, again, it's one of my favorite nights of the entire year. I mean, I know like the Super Bowl, the playoffs, playing fantasy, like all of it's fun, watching games on Sundays and stuff. The first round of the NFL draft is just one of those days where I'm just like, nothing else can go on for me because I have to watch this. It's just so much fun. So can't wait. And we're only 8 days out.
I will be gone for like 20 to 30 minutes during that at some point, so I will miss something just because I'll probably have to do a little parenting here and there, but I will be here for the long haul, so don't worry. Baby goes down eventually.
Me and Joe will definitely be carrying all the way through.
I'll be here from the start, and I'll just like at some point, I gotta say goodnight to the man. I mean, he's growing up in my house. I can't just be like, although it is.
I'm leaving
draft,
after pick 10.
I just can't wait until the Bears pick is something that he doesn't want, and then his mic goes off, his camera disappears.
I will be here for pick 10 or whenever the Chicago Bears pick, unless they trade up and immediately pick. Like I gotta have some warning,
I'm kind of glad that the Eagles have the last pick because that definitely means Josh is going to be locked in all the way to the end of the draft.
I think the Eagles could. I was actually gonna mention the Eagles as a trade up or trade down candidate, but it's because they could do both. They did it once already with the 32nd pick and giving Lamar to the Ravens. But I could see them trading up too. Like they get aggressive. They got like 4 or 5 fifth round picks. Got a couple seconds and thirds. I mean, they got draft picks. Like they have some stuff to play around with.
Whatever the hell he wants at this point.
Yeah, Goddard could be a game day or a draft day trade and go get Tyler Warren as a replacement. Like I could see all kinds of things happening. It's really fun being an Eagles fan during the draft.
Yeah. Well, and it's fun that your team won the Super Bowl, so now you can just do whatever the hell you want. Must be fun.
There's definitely holes that need to be filled, defensive line specifically, but I don't know what they're gonna do. That's the best part is really what I'm saying. It's not about because they always get to draft the right people. It's because you never know what the hell's gonna happen. Like you hope and you hear rumors and but really Howie could be doing like 6 different things all at once and just like sure, let's go draft Abdul Carter somehow.
Let's do it.
That'd be
I love
wild.
That. Okay, well, like I said, we're going to do a podcast next week, so expect a super... It should be shortest. We're not going to do a full podcast next week because we are going to be live for 4 hours on Thursday, so look for that in the feed. It'll probably just be a primer, so if you listen to the podcast typically on Fridays or Saturdays, it's going to be a little late because most of the predictions and stuff we talk about is already going to be, old news by then. So hopefully you can listen to it on Wednesday night or Thursday morning just to kind of get you prepared for the draft. So, boys, without further ado, let's get out of here. Joe, get us out.
Good night. Good night, my lovely possums.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.